5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them! All troops deployed!
Teach you some rules, cubs!
Our turret has been destroyed. The enemy has slain the turtle.
Can't teach you guys a lesson.
Our turret is under attack. Been slain. Down. Ally has been slain. Kill. Our turret has been destroyed. Dominated. Down.
Tommy. They're howly looking. God damn it. Why would you fucking say that, stupid? You say Filipino, though.
Some rules, Cubs.
White
Our
looking.
turret has been destroyed.
Asian. Something. Fuck, really solid. Fucking stupid, bro.
Our turret is under attack. Initiate retreat. Our turret has been destroyed. Ally has been slain. The enemy has slain the turtle. Ally has been slain. Double kill. Our inhibitor turret is under attack. Enemy has been slain. Our turret is under attack.
Listen.
We're behind in gold. Killing spree. Enemy has been slain. Our turret has been destroyed. Ally has been slain. Triple kill.
Oh,
Turret is
fucking.
under attack.
These fucking guys are so fucking loud.
Rampage. Our turret has been destroyed. Our inhibitor turret under attack. Our turret has been destroyed. Base is under attack. Inhibitor turret is under attack. Our turret has been destroyed. Slain an enemy.
There's no such thing as full anymore, you fucking dummy. God damn, I hate fucking listening conversation. You're stupid. It's not you, baby. God damn it. You're from Malaysia.
I'm gonna teach you some rules, cubs.
We're behind in gold. Base is under attack. Base is under attack. Ally has been slain. Base is under attack.
I'm gonna teach you some rules, cubs.
Unstoppable. Base is under attack.
Fuck. Oh, stupid. Oh, stupid. Fucking stupid.
Defeat.
Oh, fucking stupid conversation. Fuck.
No one can resist my charm, not even my enemies.
Military. What you trying to say? God damn. God damn. God damn. God damn. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. £35, bitches. 35 pounds, bitches. 35 fucking pounds, bitches.
Welcome to Mobile Legends. 5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them. All troops deployed.
Ulol.
Slain an enemy.
Roxanne. Roxanne. Nice. There's nothing inside the door. I should put some games. Yung nanonood lang yung siya shoutout ko. Kung wala naman dito, bakit ko pa siya shoutout? Roxanne, Roxanne.
Our turret has been destroyed.
What the fuck?
Our turret has been destroyed. You destroyed the turret.
Ang ina mo, Jerome. Ang ina yun. Ang ina yun. May ult na ako. Ang ina. Ayun na. Sige, sunod mga hayop. Tangina mo ano. Kagat, kagat, tangina, ult, tanginang tagal nyo, ult. Papatay na rin. Sorry, bawal pala mo. Sorry. My bad. Ayun lang, fuck you. Patay ka gago. Patay ka. Yun lang.
Your team destroyed the turret.
Tingnan nyo eh. Takot na takot pumasok mga kasama. Gusto ata ako Ah, fuck. I'm dead. Oh, ngayon daw papasok mga gago eh, no? Sinang ito magtaka. Gago. May halaman ako dito. Didinig mo ba ako, Jerome? Ano na, bawat trip ako sa mga nag-iinom ng dun. Ang bobo yung mga topic mo. Ang inang lambot eh, parang paper. Awit.
Our turret has been destroyed.
Ayaw pa patusin, sumunod pa mga hayop. Ang kagat, hayop, hindi, yun yung lahat. Tapos papasok yung gago. Push, tangin nyo. What the fuck?
And the Asians, man. I'm like, hey, you're welcome. But you do understand it's not really a choice, right? Like when you wake up Asian, you can only represent Asians. I couldn't just wake up one day like, fuck it, I'm representing Nigerians today. I'm very proud to represent the Asians, but at the same time, there's so much pressure. Like nobody ever wanted to Matt Damon be like, hey Matt, thanks for representing the whites. Sounds weird. That's like a different conversation for some reason, you know? If somebody came up to me and be like, hey Jimmy, I'm representing for the whites, I would leave that town immediately and they'll come back. So much pressure to represent. I gotta be a good Asian everywhere now. I got a tip everywhere I go. That was one of the major advantages of being Asian, because I can just pretend I don't know how to tip. Y'all know what a Chinese tip is? Chinese tip, it doesn't matter how big your bill is, you tip $2. That's a Chinese. That's a Chinese tip, man. I gotta tip 20% everywhere. I gotta give every Uber driver 5-star rating so I can get good representative. Everyone I work with, day-to-day shit. Even the bedroom, I gotta represent. after I hooked up with this one girl, this is what she said to me. She was like, Jimmy, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're the first Asian guy I've ever been with. Okay. Fortune cookie? Like, what do you want? She acted like she just unlocked a new character on Street Fighter or some shit. Why do you feel the need to say that? This one girl said this shit that was so disrespectful. This is what she said to me after we hooked up. She was like, Jimmy, I'm just glad the stereotype's not true. You don't have a small penis. And I'm like, bitch, you understand? You just insulted my entire race of people. But thank you. First of all, thank you for thinking that I did have a small penis, and we still had sex. You're the real MVP. You get 2 fortune cookies tonight, miss.
Yeah. Kunin lang.
But that's a fucked up stereotype, right? That's not even true. That's a fucked up stereotype. Everybody should have average dick until proven guilty. I don't care how tall you are, what ethnicity you are, how big your hands are. Everybody should start at average dick. 8 inches. And we go from there. There's so much pressure, man. Now I feel like every time I have sex, there's a billion Chinese people on my back just judging. I gotta make sure I perform and represent, you know? I gotta give an extra pump for my uncle in Shanghai, an extra pump for my nephew in Hong Kong and shit. It's like, oh my God. That's why you see old Asian people, they be walking like this, just like... It's so much pressure. Seen those like Kumon learning centers in those strip malls, right? Kumon learning centers, for you guys that don't know, are basically detention camps for young Asian children. You can tell that place is kind of fucked up by the look of its logo. Because it's supposed to be a smiley face, but it's not really smiling. It's just like, man. My parents were way too cheap to send me to Cuba. They never let me use a calculator until I turned 15, so I can work on my brain. So when I turned 15, it was a very special day. It was basically my quinceañera. My dad just gave me a TI 83 plus. And he looked me in the eyes, and he was like, you're a woman now, okay? But when you're a kid, when your parents tell you can't do something, what do? You rebel, right? So when I was 14 years old, I stole my brother's calculator. I stole Roy Rogers' calculator. And I locked myself in my room and I started rebelling. I started doing math homework. Other kids were like fucking around with like alcohol and drugs. I was fucking up some problems, you know? Locked myself in a room. I was just punching in numbers. I was like, oh man, this feels great, you know? It's so wrong. It's awesome. My dad was pissed. He was knocking the outside the door. He doesn't like locked doors and he was screaming. He was like, Jimmy, Jimmy, what are you doing inside? Come out right now. I know you're in there using a calculator. Come out right now. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. And he unlocked the door and he came in. I went into full panic mode, so I just threw away the calculator and I pulled out my pants. I was like, Dad, I was just jerking off. And he came in, and he looked at me, and then he looked at the math homework. And he was like, good, very good, very good, very good. You must have really liked math. That's good. That's good. Keep it up. Because there's nothing that'll make an Asian father more proud than to see his son jerk off to his math homework. free. Free, 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 free.
Pangatanga.
It's really hard for me to watch TV with my dad because he's trying to make me explain everything to him.
Ay, nagtatanga,
And first of all,
nagkasama.
all Asian people, they don't watch TV, they judge the TV.
Defeat.
This is like, I'm just sitting next to my dad on the couch, and he's wearing his like old Asian man costume, which is just a white beater and tidy whities. He's just sitting there, arms folded, judging the TV like. He just makes random noises around the house. Now whenever he sneezes, it's never just a sneeze. It's like a whole tsunami of sound waves that comes after. It's just like, what? Oh, ay, shit. Oh. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I just have an orgasm? What was that? And he doesn't understand what I'm saying half the time. He's like, oh, there's an orgasm. Okay, the orgasm. Orgasm. And he's trying to make me explain everything to him on TV. Do you understand how difficult it is to explain a rap music video to an old Chinese man? We're just sitting there, and my dad was like, Jimmy, what I mean when he say Lamborghini Mercy, what's that? And I'm like, Dad, he's bragging about his car. It's a Lamborghini Murcielago, very expensive car. You know what that is, right? And it's like, oh, okay, yes. That's when you know they have no idea what the fuck you just said. Like, okay, yes, a Lamborghini, okay. Jimmy, what did he mean when he say, your chick is so thirsty, right? And I was like, shit. Dad, he's making fun of somebody's girlfriend, okay? He's saying, like, she likes attention from other guys, and she likes to do sex stuff with them. You know, like blowjobs and such. And he's like, oh, okay, yes. Blowjobs, okay. Jimmy, I'm thirsty too, okay? So I was like, oh, God, no. Got lost in translation. It's disgusting.
Okay, come on, sit down and relax. It's time to laugh. I got a stand-up comic for you. My next guest has been making you laugh Sunday nights on HBO Silicon Valley as well as in comedy clubs around the country. Give it up for Jimmy O'Gang, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Lucia. How you guys doing? Lovely. It's amazing to be here, man. Thank you guys so much for coming. It is amazing. It's great. The weather's hot outside, man. I just came in for the AC and they told me to stay for the comedy, so it's good. I love being in Los Angeles, man. I've been going to the beach. It's great. But one thing I could never do, I could never take my shirt off at the beach.
Watch out for ambush.
Ladies, don't get me wrong, I'm in shape, okay? I'm in shape. This is an extra small, extra slim fit. I'm in shape, but I'm just a small guy with really nice hair. So from the back, I look like a hot Asian chick. And from the front, I look like a really hot Asian chick. It's terrible. It's weird, man. People always try to holler at me and stuff. It's weird. I'm actually kind of jealous of my black friends because they're so spontaneous with the ladies, right? They can go up to any girl they want and just holler at them. Great. I see my black friends in the street. Any girls are like, "Hey, what's up, man? What's up, I can't do that. Can you imagine if a really Asian person trying to pull that off? How awkward and messed up it's gonna turn out to be? It's like... Hey. Let me holler at you, huh? Hey, where you gonna let me holler Come back, come back. I'll do your nails for you. You guys are racist. Man. It's supposed to be a super amazing for me to do it.
Watch out for ambulance.
I'm 13 years old from Hong Kong, China. Thank you. When I first came here, this is true story. When I first came here, and I learned how to speak English by watching a lot of television. 2 months into it, I realized I was watching Telemundo. I didn't really know. Like, what is corazon? And there's like 12 of them? What is that? So eventually I switched the channel, and you can still hear my voice today. I learned most of my English by watching BET Rap City. Yeah. Big Taken Basement, Freestyle Friday. There's nothing more American than Snoop Dogg, you know? And I didn't know any better. I just thought that's how everybody talked. So I went up to the lunch lady the next day. I'm like, hey, what it do, shawty? Yeah. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Luckily, nobody ever tried to bully me because they just assumed I know Kung Fu. It was great. Me and Arsena, we're going to do Rush Hour 4. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. To this day, I still run into weird situations just for being Asian. I was watching the soccer game, very exciting game. It was like USA versus Mexico, right? I was at a bar. And this old Mexican guy came up to me, and he barely spoke a word of English. And he tapped me on the shoulder. He was like, amigo. Korea. Tomorrow. I'm not Korean. He managed to insult me with the only 3 English words he knows. That's a gift. He should be on this show. So I got back at him. I just insulted him with the only 3 Spanish words I knew. I just said tacos, burritos, cilantro, huh? It's great to see all these different ethnicities here in the world. Whatever ethnicity you are.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Whatever ethnicity you are, you have to be proud of who you are, man. I'm really, really proud to be Asian, I gotta say. I'm proud to be Asian. Because I've never seen an Asian person on the Maury Povich show. Have you ever seen that? You've never seen that? Never! You're never gonna see some Asian guy walking down those steps of shame on Maury and just be like, hey Maury. Look, Maury, look. Look, Maury. I got a small eye. He got a big eye. That's not my baby, Maury. That's not my baby. Thank you very much. I'm Jimmy Young. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
You're working, dog. You're working. Yes, sir. Give it up for him. Let's see Jimmy perform at the last act in Hollywood, May 22nd, and in Long Beach. We got to get Snoop out there on the 23rd and 24th. Also, check my website for Just Phone is coming, y'all. We'll be right back.
Partners at Capital G, which is Alphabet's growth equity investing fund. And I have the privilege and honor of introducing you to my friend, Jimmy Ouyang. Come on down. I'm going to give you a hug.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, gang. Thanks for coming out, everybody. I appreciate that. Is there a dog here?
Yes, there is. So, Google has a dog open door policy. So, Jimmy wrote a book recently. It's called American. We're gonna have a little chat here, and then we'll open it up for questions. And this is a little expensive. If you don't have the book already, those who ask questions will be the first to get your very own copy of the book.
Ooh! So exciting.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start in the back.
Your team destroyed a turret.
Yeah, I was born in Hong Kong.
2000.
2000.
Enemy has been slain.
And I think there's a lot of worry there. It's probably one of the reasons why my family moved here. When I first came, I couldn't really speak English very well. Kind of like Jing Yang, you know? And I learned English in Hong Kong when I was 2 years Spanish. So, it's not very well. And, like, I didn't understand, like, the simple things, like, what's up? Like, they don't teach you that in school. Like, what's up? Right? And, eventually I learned a lot of English by watching BET Rap City. That was, like, my thing. So, yeah, and then it just progressed from there.
But even before you moved to LA, let me see if I get this straight. Your parents were originally from Shanghai.
That's true.
So they spoke Shanghainese.
It was Shanghainese back home, and then I learned Cantonese from school. So I speak Cantonese in school, and then I'll watch shows in Mandarin.
No wonder you're confused.
Very, yeah. And then English somewhere came along.
So how did that even feel as a kid, even before you got to the U.S., not knowing how to speak really good English, just being in Hong Kong, but having parents who speak English?
Yeah, I was kind of already the foreign kid, because whenever I speak to my parents, they'll be like, "Oh, that's the Shanghai boy right there." You know, there's like a internal almost hierarchy and a semi-racism within Chinese people. Like Hong Kong people always think they're better than other, you know, mainland China people. You know, and so they always call me like the Shanghai boy. And so maybe that was like my first experience of assimilation, which really came in handy later when I came to America, when I was actually the foreign kid.
Already sort of felt like an outsider.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to the U.S., you're in L.A. What's your first day in the U.S.? What happens?
It was just complete culture shock, you know, because Hong Kong is like the streets are like 6 lanes wide, everything is like a 2-story strip mall. And you walk down the streets, nobody in the streets, so it's like, where am I? You know, there's like, this is Mad Max, or what's going on? And the first day, my grandpa took us to his favorite American restaurant. We walked 45 minutes down the street. First of all, it was Hot Dog Pizza Hut, and that was my favorite restaurant in Hong Kong. The Pizza Hut in Hong Kong is a gourmet restaurant with like seafood pasta and like real like gourmet soups and stuff, you know. And then I saw the real authentic American version, and it was just like a hole in the wall with an oven. I'm like, what is this? How is the real version worse than the foreign version? I was panicking.
So where did Grandpa take you?
And then Grandpa, it was like, this is my favorite American restaurant. We arrived at this strip mall, and it was El Pollo Loco. It was a Mexican fast food place, but it was amazing. And then it was like the first time I experienced like American freedom inside of El Pollo Loco. Because you think about it, they give you so many choices. There's dark meat and white meat. Which my grandpa was like, don't ever order the white meat. That's dry and rough. That's for American foods, okay? There's corn tortilla and flour tortilla. You get the flour tortilla with the corn tastes funny. And then, you know, you get a glass of water, and you can go to the service and get it.
Utang kita.
Not exactly how it works.
And then you can go to the salsa bar and just get whatever you want, you know? Get some onions and cilantro. You can go home and
Tang
saute
ina.
stuff for some dish later. It's freedom, people.
All right. So after you ate your little chicken taco, you go to middle school in LA, and you go to John Burroughs, right?
Yes, John Burroughs is it's inside of LA Unified School District, so it's very diverse. It's the first time I ever met a black person, a white person, a Latino person in real life. because in Hong Kong, obviously, all you had was Chinese people in high school. And it was crazy because I'd seen this different type of people on TV, but I never met him. And I was 13. I was about, I don't know, like 4'10", really scrawny little kid with glasses.
Scrawny.
And like, I just remember the first day, I was pretty good at basketball back home in Hong Kong. And then when I came, I was in 8th grade. This kid Marquise was like dunking. And I'm like, yo, like this is what America's about. Like it was crazy to me, you know. And then I saw this Latino kid, he had a mustache. I couldn't even grow any hair. It was complete culture shock, and I was just, you know, my English wasn't that good. I was trying to fit in.
I thought you were a ping pong star back in Hong Kong.
I was
so stereotypical.
Back in the day, I was very stereotypical growing up in Hong Kong. I played I played in math, and I played ping pong competitively.
Competitively.
But that seems like a stereotype here, but in Hong Kong, it's just another group. That's just what people do. It's like playing cards.
Did you bring your skills?
Playing
Did you show them off?
Nobody's playing about ping pong. Maybe until college, when it became like a beer pong game. But that's a whole different
We're not there yet.
skill
We're in
set.
middle school.
Yeah.
So middle school, is this when your BET love affair with
I
television
think it
started?
started. I remember like the first day of school, they were telling me inside my pants. Like I'm in the locker room changing my people, and the kids were like, "Hey, put your shorts down." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what is going on here now?" And apparently it's a culture of sagging your pants back in the early 2000s. You know that looks cool. If you pull it all the way up, they call you John Stockton.
How far did you pull him down?
Pull it all the way down to my knees. No, don't do that. And even underwears, there's different, like people wear boxers here. In Hong Kong, we wear like tidy whities and people make fun of each other, you know. So I learned a lot, not just about the language, but culture from, you know, watching
Thank
BET.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
And then how was it? Sorry, in middle school, then you go to Beverly Hills High School, right?
Yeah, my dad was a genius. He used a fake address.
Jimmy's dad is right here.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Yeah, he's
Say
not
hi to
just-
Jimmy's dad.
Tang ina, takot na takot, mga
Oldest
puta.
Googler in the building.
What the fuck is this team?
And the subtitle of the book is
Kind of this shit.
How to American and immigrant
Tang
families
ina,
find their
takot.
There we are.
Tangina ko na naman pa magdadive. There you go.
We're going to talk about you're still not playing with the performances in high school, right?
Oh, wala.
I'm still a good Asian.
Yeah, wala.
I got to disappointing them later.
So who did you hang out with in high school?
It's a group of kids. I wanted to hang out with a group of Chinese kids I could kind of really hang on to. You know, you don't really know the language. You kind of long for them. Something that reminds you back home. But there wasn't really a lot of Chinese kids in high school, so I ended up just hanging out with a bunch of random misfits, right? Like I had a couple Persian friends, a friend from Bangladesh, and then a friend, one Chinese friend, and then a Korean immigrant friend. So
You
it was a
fucking
great
suck.
group of different people, and we just kind of, we're never the cool kids, but we also weren't like super lame. We just kind of never fit in with any particular group. We weren't the skaters,
Right.
we weren't the athletes or anything like that, you know?
But you started to find your people. I
I started to find my people, and I started a rap group. That's what happens when you watch
Can you
BET.
do a little of that rap for us?
I can't. No, that was horrible.
Just a little?
No, what I did, I eventually I knew I was a horrible rapper, so I recruited my buddies, you know, to come rap, and I just made the beats, right? And that was like my first creative outlet. It was me, my black friend Julian, and then my other friend Yuji, who was half black and half Japanese. So it was perfectly 1.5 Asian guys and 1.5 black guys. And we called the rap group the Yellow Candy. And very embarrassed.
Did you ever sell one of your songs?
I sold maybe a couple bootleg CDs in school. Like we just burn CDs. You guys remember that? When you burn, it takes 30 minutes to burn a CD, and then you sell it for like $5 to some
There
kids.
wasn't like a porn your songs or something?
What are you talking about? My first tape show business was from a website called FudgeTape.com. This is true. Okay, don't look it up. It's not a thing anymore. It used to be a site, a porno site, and I used to post my beats that I made online. And this guy called me one day. He was like, "Hey, are you Doc West?" That was my beat maker name. Which is like the wackest name ever, right? Doc West. It's like from Dr. Dre and Kanye West. I just combined the two and called myself Doc. It's horribly hacky. And he called. He was like, "Hey, so are you Christian?" I'm like, "Not really. Why? What's up?" He's like, "Well, so I'm in the adult entertainment business, and a lot of Christian people aren't getting into what I'm doing. And my name's LeBron James." That was his name. Not LeBron James. LeBron James. And he was like, I like one of your beats, and can I use it for a trailer for one of my pornos?" So I sold it to him. My first paycheck.
All right, so a little short-lived music career. You go to college, UCSD?
UC San Diego.
Oh, we've got some in the
I'm
house.
sorry. I'm sorry. One of the most boring places I've ever been. Did you like it? You did like it? Oh, good. What did you guys study? Like engineering, computer science or something? Good. Oh, at least you guys studied something you guys liked. Economics! How'd you end up here? Imposter. I'm kidding. So am I. I study economics also. And here I am.
But you didn't, is that what your dad wanted you to major in?
He wanted me like something legitimate, right? What Asian parents would consider legitimate is like engineering, science. So I went on this, and I realized I would never graduate. So I went into economics, which is like the easiest major that is still approved by Asian parents. Right, man? You know, he was financial advisor, so, you know, that's what it is. And so I did it for 5 years. It took me 5 years to graduate. And I
A
didn't.
lot of extracurricular activities.
Yeah, you know, smoking a little too much weed my freshman year. I was just trying to not be grouped in because there's so many Asian people in UCSD, right? It was like the first time I came to America that Asian was the majority once again. But now I have a different identity crisis because now I don't want to be grouped in as the other because I'm like, dude, I listen to Jay-Z, man. Like I'm Doc West, you know what I mean? Like I don't, like you know, I'm cool. So when you're younger, you don't want to be grouped in with some. When you hit that age, that college age, you don't want to be grouped in. So I try to do other stuff, and for some reason, as twisted as these logic sound, it kind of made sense to me. Was if you just smoke enough weed, you would transcend being just the Asian kid. You will be the stoner kid. You know what I mean? And for me, in my mind, somehow that's better.
Somehow that's better. Somehow that is better. Somehow that's better.
Mangang kami inwar ko da jesi da mapampalungin ka mga adag.
Wala yun lang. Nanganak di pa bro.
Ilang aday inwar ko da jesi da mga
Anak pa mo. So, ay nabusog. Ay ma'am. Nakangko.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them. All troops deployed.
Hindi ko kung sa lang arodan.
akong tungay. Hindi na rin tungay.
So did you not hang out with any other Asian kids?
No, I did. I mean, that's the only option at UCSD, and it was fun. It was like maybe other Asian stoner kids. I didn't know what I wanted to do. When I graduated after 5 years, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just know I didn't want to do economics. You know, I had an internship at Smith Barney. Like one of the really nice financial firms. I don't know if you guys know about it. Smith Barney. I mean, it just sounds nice. You know, it's Stanley now or something. But like I just sitting behind the desk, I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna do this for the next 4 years. I'm gonna start working with virtual. I was having like a panic attack. I mean that actually sounds attractive to a lot of people. To like, you know, the safety of having a job like that. But to me, it just didn't appeal to me. So.
But that's hard. I mean, your dad got you this job.
Yeah.
He helped you go to college, right? He was there for you. You really like degrees. You do a lot through your teenage years, right? Because your mom went back to Shanghai.
Yeah.
So top fell over here. And all of a sudden you tell him you don't want to do the job that he got. So how did you...
And that's when I'm disappointed.
How did you get up the courage, though, to have that conversation with him?
It was hard, man. Because you don't ever want to disappoint your parents, especially they've done so much for you, right? Like, they came to this country for you, for your education, got you in school, right? Faked an address to get me into Beverly Hills High School. I mean, come on. And then I would tell them I don't want to do this job, you know, and do what? I don't know, like stand up. And it was hard, but I figured it was probably better to disappoint my parents for a couple years than to disappoint myself for the rest of my life. So that's why I was like, Dad, I can't do this. I don't want to do this job. And I went through a journey after that, you know, of finding what I wanted to do.
Right.
I didn't think stand-up was going to be a career. It was just something I found that, you know, it was a friendship that I found in stand-up with other comedians and a camaraderie. Right. And that's something to do, even, you know, just a community, that so I don't feel as stuck. But I tried other things, you know, like I got 3 jobs when I graduated. I sold used cars during the day. This was on San Diego. And then I would go to work at the Comedy Palace, working the door, collecting tickets. And then in exchange, I would get a couple minutes of stage time doing stand-up. And then at night, I became a strip club DJ.
So let's talk about that, because your boss's name was Shooter?
Yeah, his shoot. I don't know why I probably shot somebody, who knows. It was a very gangster, like, seedy strip club. And when you're like 22, you think working at a strip club is like the coolest thing, right? Especially when you watch too much music videos. But it wasn't. It was like, I soon realized nobody in that strip club actually wanted to work there. They were there because they've been in prison a few times and they have to work there now. Right. And everybody got nicknames like Shooter. The bouncer's name was Beast. He used to be in the Aryan Brotherhood back in prison, so he probably wasn't too hot on New York again. And yeah, it wasn't that great of an environment, but I tried to be professional, you know.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Okay, but back to your stand-up, it sounded like when you were taking tickets at the door, you actually had some people who became really good friends and also advisors. So Sean Kelly, is that?
Sean Kelly, a good friend of mine, mentor. I think that's one of the most important things. It's finding like a good mentor. I'm not afraid to ask somebody to be a mentor. You know.
How'd you meet him? Who is he?
Yeah, so he was the guy that started the Comedy Palace. He was like a businessman and a comedian, and everybody in San Diego was like, "Yo, if you want stage time, you need to talk to Sean Kelly." I'm like, "Who's Sean Kelly? Is that like Dave Chappelle's cousin or something?" Like, I don't know. And he turned out just to be like this brilliant businessman that really helped me along my career. He was the one, I guess, in the beginning, he was like, "Man, you got such a unique story with immigration, like, and you're wasting time talking about, like, hacky, like, masturbation jokes. Don't do that. Every other comic can do that. You have your own story. You should develop this material, eventually write a book about it. And then, you can do talks, you can do whatever. And look at me!" And he was the one that talked me out of working that strip club. He was like, "Yo, Jimmy, you're funny, man. You gotta move to LA before this gets like, to the point of no return." So finding that mentor is extremely important.
I love that he pushed you in that direction, because there's one part in the book where Terrell and Guam, who seem to be good friends of yours, who are also...
Yeah, they're two comics.
Yeah. So it sounded like you know, they had more lively sex life than you did at the time.
Right.
And so they were incorporating all that into their female.
Yeah.
And you were like,
I wanted to do that.
right, but it wasn't authentic, right?
Yeah.
So Sean somehow saw that in you, not, you know,
Yeah.
and made you tell your real story. So how did that change your comedy?
It's great. I think it's still evolving. When you first start as a comedian, you're not funny, right? Nobody's funny when you first start. You just try to do jokes that you've seen on TV and your own remix of that. You know, it's a masturbation joke. So like, and then you graduate to something self-deprecating Asian jokes or something like that. And then eventually you become you're able to become more vulnerable and talk about, you know, the immigration stories that I have, right? Like that I wrote in a book, and I'm really happy to kind of use some of that material. And that's material people can't even steal, and it's just your thing, right? So I think that's what I'm trying to strive to doing, because that's what favorite comedians did. You know, Chappelle, George Lopez has great, you know, family stories, and like him being a Mexican American in America. So I want to do more of that.
Right. So how did you then make that jump from doing stand-up to then going to LA, getting an agent? Like, talk me through that shift.
Oh man, I just wanted to do stand-up. My goal was to get a college agent. I can make like $2,000 a week doing college shows, right? But then, you know, things started to unfold, and I went back to LA. I was living in this Craigslist for $300 because I didn't want to move back to my dad's as a failure.
Right.
You know? So it was just struggling. I was just trying to make ends meet. I was hoping to book a commercial. You know, because a commercial you can make like thousands of dollars with one day of work. You know, with residuals. So that was what I was hoping for. So I signed up, you know, put my headshots up on all those websites, like desperately seeking for an agent. And then the first agent I met with, a commercial agent, I was like, oh man, this is great. This is great. This is going to change my life. And I drove up, I pulled up. It was at an apartment rental office. It wasn't even an agency. I walked into an apartment building. And then he had me like read the Staples commercial, right? It's like, Staples, where all the folks, and I was so bad. The apartment rental agency rejected me. They're like, oh, we're fine, we don't need you. And I was like almost about to give up on that, and then I found another small agent that kind of took a chance on me. And she started sending me out on auditions that were like beyond my goals at that time, even not just commercials, but like Modern Family, just like 2 lines here and there. And I guess I learned some timing from doing stand-up, but I had never taken acting classes, so I wasn't very good. And then eventually, I spent a lot of money on like acting classes, and I got my first part on Two Broke Girls. It was just like 2 lines, and I thought that was like the epitome of acting. Like, it was amazing, you know. And then from then, you know, the 2-line part, you know, and then I got another 2-line part. Got like a part on Always Sunny, you know, with a few lines.
And what type of characters are you getting cast?
It's different. One of my favorite parts of the book is this audition log. Right? It's the 101 audition before I got my 102nd audition, which was Silicon Valley. So let me see here if I can find a good section. Where is that log? Oh, here you go. There's 100. all these auditions. I used to meticulously keep a log, and I got on Silicon Valley. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. But it's a lot of like stereotypical roles. Like the first like few parts that I auditioned for, I didn't get it. Tucker, ethnic friend. Right? It's like these 2-line parts. This is one of my favorite parts. Like looking at these parts, I'm like, oh my god! Like I used to dream about getting these roles. You know what I mean?
Right.
And really, Silicon Valley started off as a 2-line part also. Like Jing opened the doors. Like this is Pipe. Like that was the 2 lines that kind of started it. And then they wrote the fish scene after, and then something else. I think by season 2, I became a series regular. It was so like I felt like I snuck in the back door, and it was just amazing.
So even that first season, you were still trying to pay the rent, trying to make it work.
I got paid $900 per episode. $900. That's the SAG minimum wage. Okay, that's the lowest they can pay, and that's what most people get paid in Hollywood when you're just starting out. So I was in 3 episodes in the first season, and I maybe like 5 words total. And I was paid what, like $2,700, with residuals $3,000 at the end of the day. And I was still super broke. I actually drove Uber between season 1 and season 2 of Silicon Valley. But nobody recognized me then, And I used that $2,700 as down payment for like a 2006 Prius, and then that's how I could sustain myself. And when I got a call to be a series regular on season 2, it was life changing. Like I knew that was the moment. I was like, oh my God, everything's about to change.
So let's talk about music. Big influence on you.
Mike Judge, my guy, who wrote the foreword in this book.
5 seconds
Yeah.
till the enemy
And the
reaches
first
the
time you
battlefield.
ever heard him speak was, besides Beavis and Butthead?
It was at UCSD. Mike Judge was one of the best speakers. How crazy is that? 2009. He was the campus-wide commencement speaker. I was very hungover. I almost didn't go, and then my buddy convinced me. He's like, "Oh, come on, man, just go." He did like Beavis and Butthead. He's the Beavis and Butthead guy, the King of the Hill guy. And then his story like really spoke to me because I was really lost at the time. And he was saying that he was a physics major in UCSD, and he was working in Silicon Valley in the late '80s. Making computer chips for fighter jets, I believe. And he said he just didn't like it. And eventually he became a touring musician. And then from then he found his passion in an animated studio, and that's how he made Beavis and Butthead. It was an amazing story. It was a story that I kind of never allowed myself to have growing up in an Asian family. My dad always told me that if you pursue your dreams, that's how you become homeless. Artists are homeless people. So, he never, I was never allowed to kind of have that dream thing, right? That's a very American thing. And that's what a big theme in the book is. It's in Asian culture, you're supposed to be obedient, follow the rules, be a good son. In American culture, you're supposed to be an independent man, go pursue your dreams, pursue your happiness. So how do you kind of, I'm sure a lot of Asian people here can relate to this, or even anyone. It's like, which side do I go to? Because they're exact polar opposites, right? And I think deep down I always want to be that artist person, but I did go through the rounds throughout college to kind of just be a good son, right? And then the Mike Judge speech like really spoke to me. I'm like, man, this dude didn't know anything about Hollywood, but he was able to make it. So that kind of gave me a little extra motivation to go pursue stand-up and whatever I love. And 5 years later, he had no idea I was like, I just wanted to audition for the part. And the first day of table read, I told him, thanks. So that was pretty cool.
He majored in economics too. He turned out alright, so I think you're fine.
Yeah.
So now you're in Silicon Valley full time. How do you reconcile? You have your own sort of immigrant story, and then there's the story of your character. How do you think about that? How do you prepare for that? Like, what do you draw from your own experiences? What do you draw from?
Absolutely. I think it all came full circle that I'm able to kind of use my past story as a Jing Yang character. Because I'm basically 15 years understand a lot of things, and being kind of bullied by TJ's character early. But he's not stupid, so he can kind of come back with this really deadpan
Our turret
backstory,
has been destroyed.
that you don't see coming. So when I was younger, when I first came here, people talk trash to me, right? And when you're young, when you're 13, people are like, hey, your mom's fat, whatever. And I'm like, no, she's a skinny teenager. Well, that's a very Jing Yang moment in the way. And I think one of my favorite things is there's so many favorite moments with me and TJ. I just love working with him. One of my favorite things is the mansion party where we try to get up to the Real Woods project. And we just constantly keep trying to throw each other under the bus. He was like, can we just go and just take one quick lap? He doesn't even eat. And I was like, yes, I'm very hungry. Like that's stuff like that. And then there's another page where I just started naming it after the you guys see it sounds like Korean barbecue, like spaghetti meatballs. Like it just so much going on in that scene. That was the first time that me and TJ had the whole scene to ourselves, you know, and the whole background and setting. So that was really fun, and I think that was the day that we discovered there was something special.
So in this season, you know, obviously TJ's not on, or we're not quite sure where he is. So how do you find your rhythm?
Our turret has been destroyed.
He's really sad. He called me like at midnight. I'm not coming back for the next season. And I was like shocked. I was like, oh my god. So that means whatever the last season we did was going to be our last season together. So I was like really sad about it. But you know, I think it turned out to be kind of a blessing in disguise. You know, the writers have to think of more creative ways to kind of, you know, build out the show, without TJ. And also for me, I get to interact with some other cool people and kind of be a pain in the ass to other people, which is really fun. Yeah, so
You're running an incubator now, right?
Yeah, you know, I'm trying. We'll see how it develops. And I get to interact with a lot more people, and one of the actors, Matt Ross, who plays Gavin Bell, so I get to do some stuff. It'll be fun.
And another cool project, Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes. Are you guys familiar with that? Have you guys read the book or anything? Yeah. So it was an international bestseller book. It's a satire, the first studio movie in 25 years since Joy Luck Club that features a full Asian cast. So this is like our
Not the Yellow Panthers.
Not the Yellow Panthers. Yeah. Well, basically the Yellow Panthers. Yeah, so we just shot in Singapore last year. It's coming out in August. And the experience of that was amazing because as Asians in Hollywood, you know, I don't know, different art forms, like a lot of times for any stuff, you're the only person on there. And now there's an added weight of like now the scrutiny on YouTube represent Asian people, right? So you're always looked at as the Asian dude, no matter what, right? It's always Asian attached to something. Either the Asian leading man, Asian asshole, Asian funny guy, or whatever, right? But shooting this movie was great. It was in Singapore, where the most talented, most beautiful, funniest Asian people are all in one room trying to make this movie. And the pressure just kind of off of you. Like, you're not just a token Asian dude on set. You can do your job. The funny thing, Constance Wu, Henry Golding as like a really romantic lead, just talking about the fun. And it was the first time in Hollywood that I felt white. And it felt great. It felt so good. Yeah, for sure. Let's get to some questions.
Actually, the mic is there if you guys want to get. We're live streaming, so you guys will have the mic so you can line up back there. And we also have a Dory if you guys want to ask another Dory. So, state your name and then.
Reading that book, Salsa Greena's story. I was curious. I loved your role in Silicon Valley. There's some like cringeworthy, some like stereotypical Asian moments. I'm wondering how you reconcile that with yourself, how do you go through that?
Yeah, I think it teeters the line of being a stereotypical character and then portraying an immigrant character and humanizing it, right? I know a lot of, especially American-born Asian actors that don't even, they won't even audition for a part that has like an accent or something. And for me, I kind of disagree with that. Because I was the kid that was born. I was the kid with an accent. So my job is not to judge that, but to portray them in a humanizing, funny way to make them look better. I think that's more important than trying to throw people out. Because one of the most painful things when I first came here wasn't the fact that, you know, say black people, Latino, or white people didn't accept me, because I wasn't high school. But one of the most painful things was that the American-born Asian people didn't accept me. Because they didn't want to be grouped in as like a fob, you know. So I kind of feel pretty strongly about that, where I want to make immigrants just as appealing, just as sexy, just as funny as a perfectly English-speaking person, and I think that's important.
Inhibitor turret is under
Thank you.
attack.
Thanks for directing the calls.
We're going to alternate one live and one Dory questions.
Okay, cool.
All right, the next question is, do you have any thoughts on sex art and artists to be included? They have on the perception of the especially in modern day. Yeah.
Anything else? What is your relationship like
DJ.
with Early, TJ Miller in real life? He's a good friend of mine. And we really got along. I think we got the same sense of humor and stuff. Like, I was like, I felt pretty good about it. He said I was the first one he called, like when he decided to do Silicon Valley. We hang out every now and then. He's in New York now, so we don't get to hang out as much. But I took him to show him the Patriots Day, a movie I was in, and about the Boston Marathon bombing. And then after the movie, TJ was like standing up, clapping. And then he just like announced to the theater, like, guys, this is my friend Jimmy Elliott. He was the kid in the movie. Please, everybody clap. So he got a big personality. Like, he is kind of that guy in real life, but I love it. He's awesome. Yeah.
Destroyed a turret.
As someone who's navigated that really complicated space of kind of giving up the guaranteed regular salaried job to kind of pursue something that could be a spectacular failure, what kind of advice do you offer, or could you offer to someone trying to decide whether or not to take a chance on something?
And I talked to some startup people. I think those guys are like really brave, and they're artists too, right? Like, because they could be working with some of the cartoons.
Destroy the turret.
And one guy told me, he was like,
Your team destroyed a turret.
yeah, you can always open to, do something safe. So, yeah, we're just only losing a couple of years. We're fine. Just pretend you're in a coma or something.
All right, next question. Are you experiencing any reverse culture shock now when you go back to...
Yes. Yeah, when I go back to Hong Kong, I went back to Hong Kong for the first time in 17 years last year after I shot Crazy Rich Asians. And that kind of... I couldn't find an ending to the book, and that trip gave me the ending that I needed for the book. It was culture shock. I'm so used to LA now. Now I'm not used to tall buildings and stuff like that, right? And the people, I'm like, oh my God, this is so anxiety-inducing. There's people everywhere. But there is still a part of me that feels like Hong Kong is always home. Because when I went there was just, I don't know, I felt at peace at something. Because here, like we talked about, if I'm playing ping pong or like playing the violin or like just eating dim sum here, I'll seem a little stereotypical. I try, I dabble. But I'll be like the stereotypical dude here, right? But if I'm just, if I'm eating dim sum in Hong Kong, reading a Chinese newspaper, I'm just another guy. I don't have to explain myself, So there's some kind of safety and a peace there, and it was good to know that there's part of the world that I can always feel that way. Because in America, like I just became American citizen last year. Thank you. Still Asian. Because... like, I joke about that, but it's true, right? Because nobody in any part of the world, not America, not Italy, not anywhere, not even Japan, would be like, oh, look, that's an American guy. No, because I don't have blonde hair, blue eyes, or like whatever, right? Yeah, okay, but you look way more American than I do, even though we're at the same level of American. So I think hopefully, with movies like Crazy Rich Asians, more seeing Asians in media, and seeing, like a more homogenized place like Google like this, like people will start seeing Asians as Americans more and more in the future.
I mean, first off, I wanted to say it's really freaky you looking over at your dad. My dad.
Me too, yeah,
my dad is also a bald Shanghainese man. Who gets up randomly to take pictures, so it's great to see you. Thank you. And my
Does he
other...
also have a photo shoot whenever he goes to lunch or dinner?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the question is about how you prepared for your role as Jin Yang. I think some people could say that you've been preparing for this role your whole life. Being Chinese, being an immigrant, but did you do any specific immersive research in this area? For example, going to Stanford classes, or immersing yourself in a hacker hostel? And if not, how did you best prepare? And what about the idiosyncrasies of this area?
Thanks. So this past off season, actually, I made HBO give me a tour of everything. So I talked with a lot of great consultants on the show. Dick Costello is one of them. So
to be a PM here, CEO.
Yeah, and then I visited Google this past summer, and I visited Facebook and more mid-sized companies like Lyft and which Capital G invested in, and a few places, and I learned a lot. And studying the characters there, it's really cool. And also just the Jin Yang, the character, the immigrant character itself. Whenever I drive to the lot, I listen to Chinese radio for an hour when I'm driving. 1300 AM, the Mandarin station in LA. That's my jam, So it gets me kind of in that Mandarin mindset. And I also, before I do a scene, I kind of say this mantra to myself in Mandarin. I say, 我不知道, 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 which means I don't know in Mandarin. Which I think it helps me think in Mandarin, first of all, but also in a way, it kind of sums up who Jin Yang is as a person. Either he actually doesn't know about something or he doesn't even care to know about it, So yeah, that would be, I guess, my preparation for it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, you mentioned before that stand-up isn't really Hong Kong. Do you have any plans to try doing stand-up there? And are you funny in Chinese?
Yeah, stand-up is becoming a thing in Hong Kong now. There's a club that opened up called Takeout Comedy. That's the actual name of the stand-up comedy club. So I would want to go try some stand-up out in Hong Kong, maybe even in Mandarin or Cantonese or something. But it's not as easy as just literally translating my English jokes into a different language. It's more than that. It's cultural differences. They wouldn't understand a lot of stuff that we talk about here. So it'd be kind of a challenge, but maybe in the future, I'll be down to explore that.
Does your dad think you're funny yet?
Do you think I'm funny? Still keeps me humble.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks so much for coming today. I know you talked a little bit about your story getting into Hollywood in America, but is there any kind of specific occurrences that you felt really down or you got a lot of pushback, like racially or just not fitting into the role? And do you still face that moving forward today?
Yeah, when I didn't get the loud Japanese host part, I was gonna... I think one of the sadder things is like a part perfectly describes you and you still don't get it. It's like short Asian Chinese with glasses and long hair. And you go in and you audition, you still don't get the part. You're like, wow, I'm bad. Like the open ethnicity part, I get it. There are plenty of options. But you know what? At the end of the day, I never try to blame it on the fact that I'm Asian. Even though that might be true. Even though people could be racist or they're actually looking for a white guy, but they have to audition an Asian guy or something. But it doesn't benefit me at all if I try to blame that on me being Asian. So I just try to, be better the next audition. If I'm not funny on stage, I try to write better jokes and come back the next day and not use being Asian as a crutch, even though it might be true sometimes, right? So yeah, that's how I look at it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Jimmy. I'm actually a really huge fan of yours. In Silicon Valley, I actually gone through all the videos I can find of yours on YouTube.
Wow, thanks, man.
Yeah, I even checked your YouTube comments. It's kind of creepy.
We'll keep him a safe distance away.
Good guy.
So I'm super excited to be here. My question would be further in the future, would you more look into continue your path as a comedian or doing both comedian and being an actor in the show?
Yeah, I think both and more writing and also creating because still there's not a lot of material out there for artists to do. You have to come up with your own stuff. So hopefully one of my goals is turning this into a TV show, like a version of Atlanta, but our version of it, right? And that will probably reach like a more mainstream audience, because stand-up still doesn't translate to a lot of Asians, especially. Like, I never grew up knowing what stand-up is. My dad didn't know what really stand-up was. So I think turning into a TV show or something would reach like a broader, more mainstream audience.
And you think you did a talk show?
Talk show. My dad still calls it a talk show. I'm like, I'm going to Laugh Factory tonight. I'd like to do talk show.
Thank you. Sorry, one more thing.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I also have a question about like the problems you mentioned about Asian being minority in the show business. As you gain more popularity and influence to your audience, is there something you want to do more about that? Like maybe like what kind of actions you would take to change that kind of putting a great actor into a sort of a stereotypical role in a
Thank you,
show?
Razvan.
Yeah, I think what I can do is just creating my own material and putting myself in it, you know, and giving myself jobs that maybe other people would have given to Scarlett Johansson or Matt Damon, you know what I mean? So I think it's really important to create and do what you do best, right? Whereas it's right, do stand-up, act. So I always just try to concentrate on being the best I can. When there is an opportunity, I can nail it. Because there's a lot of groups out there like, you know, NAACP, CAPE, for the Asian advancements and stuff like that. And they're doing a lot of groundwork in, you know, representation, making sure the right article comes out, and you know, like racist commercials or anything, you know, right, or whatever, right? So they're doing their job, but that's not necessarily my job, right? My job is to really nail the opportunities that they create for us. And really, when I go into an audition room, not just being the best Asian actor, but being the best actor in that room so I can get that role.
It is kind of amazing, though. You've gone in just a span of a couple years from literally sleeping on the couch, right? Paying $300 in rent, scraping it together, driving Uber, to now having the weight of, you know, representing all Asians and what that means on TV and film, and do parts of the accent or not, and how do you create opportunities? Like, how do you just deal with that?
I try to not think about it, you know, and then you have a panic attack at 2 a.m. No, I'm just enjoying that. Like, this is really fun to see. Like, I never imagined this would happen, you know, or I would imagine this happening in the future. But it's just great. I'm just trying to enjoy the moment. Like, it's getting a little busy, but still, I never try to put the weight of representing on my back, because that doesn't make me better at my job. You know, so I just try to entertain.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you. Love this guy. Of course. Love this guy.
Hi Jimmy, so I think your story really resonates with me, because I dropped out of medical school, and for like 2 years my mom's like, you know what, you're never gonna get a girl to want to marry you if you're not a doctor. Like, under a lot of stress.
Are you married now?
No. so maybe she's right. So I got 2 questions. First question is, if you never got the big break on Silicon Valley, you ended up being a miserable failure, like you said. What do you think you would have ended up doing? And my second question is, so do you have groupies now that you're like an Asian celebrity?
Well, the last guy, I guess. Yeah. If I didn't get Silicon Valley, I think I would still be working hard to try to get something, right? And I always try to put, like, you know, maybe I never became a really good actor. I would just try to stand up or try to write. So I don't see a world where I went back to Steve Barney or anything like that. I think, you know, people have a misconception of like Hollywood or the arts. It's nepotism or something that's magical to happen for you. If you work hard enough and if you're good enough, it's gonna happen one way or another, right? Especially in the stand-up world. If you just be good enough, at least you can do some comedy. At least you can make ends meet, right? You might not be the next Dave Chappelle, but you can make it a job. So I think that's where the disconnect is with maybe the older generation and also how a lot of people think of this. Groupies, I still use Bumble.
Thank you.
Hi Jenny, my name is
again, and the other part of your story really resonated with me, the immigrant part. So, as an immigrant myself who's been living in the U.S. for almost 2 decades, one question really trips me up a lot, and it's, where are you from? So, Jimmy, where are you from? Like,
It depends who's asking that question, right? If it's an Uber driver that I don't really want to talk to, I'll just say LA, and that's the end of that. And a lot of people like to ask you, no, where you originally from? And you know, people take offense to that, and I get it. Like, I wish we don't live in a world like that. But, you know, I'm proud of where I'm from. Like, I'll tell people I grew up in Hong Kong, and then I came here. So if they want to figure out I sell in the book.
You too can buy it on Google Play or at a bookstore near you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Anywhere you want.
Gather,
Yeah.
team fight. Do not solo.
I was wondering if you're still keeping in touch with your high school friends, the Misfits, and other folks who knew you before Silicon Valley, and what are they up to now? And do they think you're funny?
Yeah, you know what? They're still some of my best friends, man. My buddy Joe, he's in construction now, and but he wants to be a writer, so we're actually writing something together because he knows my life better than I do. Yeah, and you know, my friend who lives he came out to support one of my it was really sweet to see that. And yeah, they still live pretty close to me, and still some of my best friends, and it's good to have people like that to keep you honest. I think like they check me, they're like, Jimmy, you're acting too Hollywood, man. You know, why are you going out to buy a gold chain? What's wrong with you? So I stopped at one gold chain.
Hey Jimmy, my name's Sonny, a big fan of the show.
Gather for team fight.
Also being the child of like immigrant parents, I'm curious to see how conversations or process went with you talking to your parents about wanting to, leave Smith Barney. Disappointing your parents who said, for a couple of years, like what was that like to your dad?
It's hard, I think, also in an Asian family, you're not as open in a way like the Western families. Like in Asian families, we don't necessarily say things like that on the surface, where it's a very common thing for my American friends to say, "Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you," right? So, thanks. So it's hard, man. I sought some therapy, and you have to kind of just step up. You don't have to be like a thing where you end up talking to somebody, right? So it's like an ongoing conversation. I think about that, and it's a big communication. We talk all the time, even about the stuff that I make them talk about stuff that they want to talk about sometimes. Like stuff from the book. We read the book and stuff like that. So sometimes it's up to us to maybe force that conversation on them.
Was there a point that you felt you had to kind of like earn his acceptance at all, or was he kind of...
I'm past that. I'm past that. Yeah.
You got him to try acting, right?
Yes, he's an actor. He played my dad in Patriots. Pretty good actor.
Hi Jimmy, I'm Paul. Having Asian parents means that there are a lot of expectations. They expect you to go to a good school, get a good job, and then get married after school and have kids before 30.
Right.
Has your parents' expectation changed as you're a first girl?
There's a lot of people feeling similar pressure.
Yeah. Has your expectation changed, Dad? Do you want me to have kids like me?
Anyone want to hire Jimmy at Google?
So there you have it. Yeah. Get to me,
Hi Jimmy, I'm Shanling. Thanks for so my question is, now you've been popularity and fame, but at what point do you think that you think you're actually going to be famous someday from TV show, and at what point do you start to actually believe that you're gonna be, you know what you're thinking, and you're gonna be good in action.
I think being an actor and it's not like an actor. I think I'm very confident in my abilities now. Ever since, you know, a few seasons of Silicon Valley and all the stuff I've done, but it's you always try to just get better, you know, and not suck. So I don't know.
Is the process doing TV versus a movie different?
Not too much, because Silicon Valley shoots like a movie, so I think that gave us a lot of practice. And you know, Silicon Valley is like going to school for me. Yeah. That's the acting school I never had, so that was awesome. So maybe one day I'll sell out. I don't know. We'll see. As the rappers would say.
Were there nights when you cry in the evenings because you feel like it's difficult?
I cry in the evenings?
Beware of ambush.
I didn't know that.
Do you cry? It's a question. Do you cry? Have you ever cried from the pressure or the fear of not making it?
No, I don't think so. It wasn't like the fear, like I get anxiety from it, but it's never like crying. Sometimes tears of joy when I realize how blessed I am. Thanks.
Okay, my question. My question is, actually, I like Jin Yang this role very much, but it's I think it's very different with the guys I met in Silicon Valley. I think like me, I'm an Asian guy and in software engineer in Silicon Valley. But I think most Asian guys I met are very smart and they get some fun. But Jin Yang is totally different with that.
As to say he's stupid.
Yeah. Do you know that? Oh, I know the role is managed by your director or some other guys, but I mean, do you know what's the true software engineer in the Asian software engineer?
She's inviting you to do a Google engineering immersion.
Yeah. Yeah. Chinese folks asking tough questions, right? I mean, you gotta still play the comedy of it, right? Like, if it's just a dude sitting in front of a computer making really awesome apps and really successful making 100, it's not funny. So it's, I think, funny to make it a satire of, you know, he has some of the mannerisms of the American people, but he still kind of has the balls, and he's kind of steps up, and he's kind of an asshole. And, you know, he's kind of an opportunist in a way, you know. I think Jin Yang can code pretty well. The not hot dog app, he just made it. You know?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe time for 2 more questions.
Thank you for coming to my name is Vicky. I'm an ABC American born Chinese. My parents are from Taipei. I grew up exactly kind of the similar path that you may have been, and until I got into Google, my mom was disappointed with me.
What did you do before?
Well, I actually went through the recruiting program, university recruiting, so I actually went to UCSD and went through the Career Center and actually applied to work in AdWords.
I never stepped foot in that Career Center.
So it was my first job out of college. It was the only job I applied for, and I was like, I hope this works out. And my mom was like, you better hope it works out. So now to this day, even my grandparents are like, don't leave Google, whatever you do, don't leave. And I don't think they even know what I do. So it's like, there is an expectation, and I totally understand kind of what a lot of us are going through. The question I had for you was around children and future children. I have a child now, and I grew up going to Chinese school, doing all the traditional Chinese things we do. I find it challenging to figure out how to raise my child in America, and also seeing culture I grew up with. And I feel like there's some responsibility on me to do that. So my question to you would be, imagine yourself being your dad one day, having your own children. How would you go about making sure that your own children don't lose their own cultural identity, given that they're not from Hong Kong?
Do you speak Mandarin, or?
I do. 讲国语.
Oh, okay. So do you speak to your kids in Mandarin?
So she's only like 14 months.
Oh, I mean, will you?
Yeah, no, I'm planning on sending her to Chinese school,
Yeah,
which is what
I think
I'm
that's
used
very
to.
cool because your kid's gonna learn. This is not that thing. Like your kid's gonna learn English in school. You might as well speak to them in Mandarin. You know, like I see, you know, some of my relatives like they insist on speaking maybe English to the kid, so the kid aren't going to be foreign like they were, you know. But that the kids grew up in America. He's going to speak English. So I think the language itself is very important. You know, I think everyone's trying to learn Mandarin now. Yeah, BET. Show them some BET.
Okay.
So I think, look, like even like people, actors, and people in media, we're trying, you know. So hopefully, as she's growing up, there'll be more material out there of positive, full Asian representation. You know, read her this book.
I mean, we only have Ni Hao Taiwan right now, but I'm sure there's more opportunities and things for her to learn from. But yeah, I agree. I think language is part of it, but also the traditional sense. I don't know if you plan on celebrating certain holidays with your future children. And
yeah, I would love to. Yeah, but I'm not one to give parenting advice. Thank you, though.
Thank you. You and your dad can write children's books.
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
All right, last question.
I feel so incredibly grateful on the last one. So I made it.
This better be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long one. First of all, hi Dad. I didn't get the hot dog signature on the book, but that's not a complaint.
There's only one.
Right, yeah. Kudos to your comments on the crazy race Asians being the Black Panther for Asians. I feel strong about that too. This is about thought leadership. So I'm also 1.5 generation Asian Canadian and went to Canada when I was 14. My voice might be shaking right now. Sorry, guys. Too excited.
You're good.
Yeah, thought leadership. I also really like how you were saying the difference between Asian and born American ABCs here and the 1.5 generation. I see there's a change of the ABCs following the 1.5 generation more as Asia's rising, specifically in China after 2005. There's still more to be done, and the thought leadership part is I don't want to divide anyone with all these labels. I also like diversity is at the top in Google, like globally, but like how do you just like tell people like we're just the same and like we're all immigrant and you should be proud of who you are without if they haven't been through your shoes?
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell people that. I think even if you turn on TV, like something like the immigration issue is so politicized. There's two sides and there's two people arguing and they never get anywhere, right? And that's why I kind of wanted to write a book like this where it's just me telling my story and hopefully humanizing the immigrant experience, right? And so maybe people can see it from my point of view in a kind of humorous, lighthearted way and really understand what it's like to be an immigrant. It's not always sob stories like, oh, whatever, but, you know, in a real way, like as if this is a real person. So I think that's important to me, and it's hard to convince people, but sometimes it's easier. It's like pitching jokes to the writers. You don't want to tell them, hey, this is the joke I want to do, but you want to kind of make them think they came up with that idea, right? Do that with your bosses. You should make them think it's their idea, and how do you do that? Maybe by telling them a story through different media, right? Stand-up jokes, or just in person telling them stories. So I think and just showing them like who you are, letting them know you. As an immigrant, and I think that does more work than arguing with someone and shoving a point down their throat.
I think we're all very lucky that we get to hear your story in writing,
Thanks, guys.
TV, and in the movie.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, show list.
Thank you. was way too much. I feel like everyone's aware that that was too much. There was definitely a moment where collectively everyone was like, I think we're overdoing it a little bit. I appreciate it. That was nice. Some of you, I felt like that was more about you than it was me, to be honest. I felt like a couple of you were like, I'm gonna be the guy. They're gonna hear me. At least 4 of you are like, I can't wait to watch this because I'm gonna point out my voice going, hey! That's fair. Good to be here in New York. I feel like I'm visiting. I live here. It's nice to live here. I travel all the time, every week. I hate flying. I get very anxious when I fly. I'm not afraid of a crash. I'm afraid of a conversation. That's what I hate about flying. I was on a plane the other day. The guy next to me was like, what do you do? And I was like, I mind my own business on airplanes. That's fine. First of all, you're sitting too close together to have a conversation. We're not trying to make eye contact. We're just staring at each other from this distance. I'm like, I could kiss you without using a neck muscle. That's how close you are. I was on a plane the other day. The guy next to me was eating a lollipop. Don't you think that's an inappropriate airplane food? A lollipop? It's too noisy. He's like... I was like, sir, you're turning me on. Could you relax a little bit? They don't even sell lollipops at the airport. That's a from-home lollipop. That guy got a lollipop. He's like, I'm going to hold on to this until I fly. I want to make sure I have that 3 inches from somebody's ear. I don't even know where you get a lollipop, by the way. Outside of a bank and a doctor's office, they don't sell them, do they? If you gave me $10 right now and you were like, go get me a lollipop, I would come back a week from now with my shirt torn and be like, I couldn't do it. I don't know. I hate everybody on every plane. We all hate each other, though. That's not exclusive to me. We all hate each other. You know everyone hates each other on the airplane? Because as you're boarding the airplane, everyone just stares at you, dead in the face, angrily. The whole flight's just... That's the only... We're not looking at our phone and look upset at everybody else on this airplane. I hate it, but I do it, too. I'm just as guilty. As soon as I sit down, I'm like, look at this fucking idiot getting on the plane. What? Back there. It doesn't matter where you are on the plane. You feel better than everybody behind you, don't you? You could be in the second to last row. This one guy behind you, like, what a fucking idiot back there. Embarrassing, loser. Last row. I was on a plane the other day. I hated the guy behind me. He kept yawning out loud the whole flight. Am I a psycho or is that... No, wait. The whole flight is like... For like 5 hours. I wanted him to die. I swear to God. I was like, I hope this guy passes away.